agenda.
Second.
Thank you, Tony. All in favor of the agenda? That's unanimous. Announcements tonight. We have a couple announcements, so we'll be making those, and I think we'll start out with Tiny.
Yeah, I have a number of them. First, I want to thank everyone who applied for the board of directors positions and for ACC. In ballot order, we have Linda Bradley, Jean Maxner, Joe Adams, and Sean Chaffee, who have put their names in for the board of directors. And we had one applicant for ACC, Terry Niblack. So thank you to all of you who have applied. We really appreciate you being willing to serve on the board or a committee. Yeah.
You did, okay, thank you.
Okay, second announcement that I have is on Wednesday, September 17th from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. There is going to be the AM/PM Beach Cleanup Day. We'll be gathering at the AM/PM Beach parking lot to clear brush along Pacific Trail and help keep our community spaces beautiful. Also, a group of students from Western Washington University will be joining us as part of their leadership credit program, and we'd love for residents to take part too. It's a great way to meet neighbors, support our trails, and enjoy a morning outdoors together. And while I know it's on a Wednesday, we hope that as many of you that can make it can be there.
Wednesday or what?
Wednesday, the September 17th, from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. You know, AM/PM Beach is a great amenity, and it'd be nice to see some work done there. All right, we have a number of upcoming events that we wanted to make everybody aware of, and just in case you've missed them. On Saturday, October 25th, we have two events actually. One is the Welcome Center Garden Party at 9 a.m. They're looking for volunteers to help do some planting and just take part in getting that garden ready. And then at 2 p.m., there is the trunk or treat. We're doing it early this year because apparently we have a wedding booked. And so we're gonna do trunk or treat early to give them space to have private time for their wedding. Saturday, November 1st is the AGM, the annual general meeting, and that will be at 1 p.m. On the 22nd, the holiday market will be from 10 to 3. And that's always a great event. We have a lot of people, we have a lot of great vendors that come, and we have a lot of community members that come and do their Christmas shopping. And then Saturday, September 6th, we will have our tree lighting at 5 p.m. And I haven't confirmed this, but I'm pretty sure the Grinch and the Candy Cane twins will be joining us again for pictures.
When for the tree lighting?
Saturday, September 6th.
September?
Sorry, December.
Early this year, right?
Really early this year.
Oh, keep going on. Saturday, December 6th.
Hope it's a fake tree.
Yes, I'm not gonna laugh.
Hey, the deer are already out there waiting.
Yeah, we're just a little snack for them. Thanks, Linda. The tree lighting is at 5 p.m. After that, we'll have some events, like we did last year. We'll have the Grinch, we'll have some treats, we'll do the cookie decorating again. And we'll just have a nice family day. That was a really popular event last year too.
Well attended.
Yes, it was.
Yes.
Kids had a great time. And last but not least, I just wanted to remind people that we do have our Sudden Valley blessing boxes. We'd like to remind everyone that Sudden Valley has 3 blessing boxes stocked with non-perishable food items for neighbors who may be in need. These boxes are cared for by a small group of dedicated volunteers, many of whom often purchase items with their own funds. To help support them, we've placed collection boxes in both the Welcome Center and the Rec Center, where members can drop off food items. And remember, please have non-perishable items. That's really important. Every contribution makes a difference. Even adding just 1 or 2 items helps keep the blessing boxes filled when we all pitch in together, and thank you for helping us care for our community. And I think I'm done.
Thank you very much. Any other announcements? Okay, hearing none. Nobody for property owner comments, Spence?
There's one person here, but they're not raising their hand.
All right, thank you very much, sir. Okay, moving on to continuing business, which we have none. So item number 5 is new business. It's a draft AGM agenda, the measures, the ballot, and explanation. And those have been distributed to all.
We need to modify something, we need to add an item before new business. We introduced the board of directors candidates, but we should add the introduction of the ACC candidate.
Oh, thank you very much.
Oh, I apologize, I missed that one.
Joel's got that.
Yeah, actually, Linda, I just left the first couple of pages in there. Those are the pages that aren't part of the major one, but I just left those introductory pages in there. I was gonna send you the Word document.
Oh, thank you. I'll be working on them tomorrow morning, bright and early.
From both Word and PDF, but I thought the Word one would probably be more useful.
Although sometimes just between you and me, the PDFs last year just went boom, 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 in.
Yeah.
But fine,
Yeah.
it will work.
Yeah, you have
It's
both.
easy,
Both
as
work.
long as they're page by page, it works like a charm.
Okay, do we want to, go ahead, Tommy?
Sorry, when you said that, maybe I said it, but I just missed it. I don't believe that I mentioned our ACC candidate who's running, and
Thank you.
her name is Terry, and I had it written down.
Niblack.
Niblack, yes, so I apologize, Terry, that I missed you.
Thank you very much for adding that.
Do we want to make a note? Normally, the committee reports are not done by the chairs. They're normally submitted to and they're submitted, all of us write our reports, and then they're submitted online under the AGM thing for everybody to look for, and there's just an announcement that the membership can find the reports there. I think that's what we did last year.
For this meeting, it's fine. The next meeting will,
Okay,
That will
sounds
be-
like a plan, I'm just trying to,
yeah, no worries. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, we certainly want an update from everyone, especially getting to the end of the year. All right, very good. So can I, so that was 5A, our drafted AGM agenda, measures, ballot, and explanations. Linda? you
So,
wanna-
I'll go ahead, you should have gotten a handout tonight for us to look at. The first one is measure 2 that I'm proposing. It's a measure for, it's revised from last year, and I took out some more stuff that I realized didn't apply anymore, and we were overreaching, what I've done is trying to amend our section on leasing. If you look at the back of the page, it's to include short-term rentals. Daniel made a really good presentation last night, and if you look at it, they want to start out by registering people. And the attorney has told us we need to have something in our bylaws considering what are short-term rentals and that they are less than 30 days. So I guess I would like to make a motion for you guys to approve putting this on the 2025 AGM as bylaw and measure 2.
I'll second that.
Thank you, excellent, good, Tommy. Discussions? So, yeah, short story of it, we need to add this on there because the STR task force came out with several recommendations that we need to follow, that we should recommend that we follow for short STRs in Southern Valley. And so this will allow us to actually pursue that. So their recommendations we could have done prior to making this amendment. Any questions or comments? Yes, we'll go with, Lori first.
I just have one addition that I would like to request, where it says in the first paragraph, section 7, long-term leasing, failure to provide a copy of the association will result in a fine to the owner of the property. After fine, I would like to be added as defined in our fine and fee schedule, fee and fine schedule, however it is. So that we show that this is not a new fine and it's already been defined. I think Linda has.
I can
Good
back up
job.
to the beginning, thanks.
I have no problem with
Just
that.
add it, it's in the bottom of the bold section in that long term.
Okay,
Yes, the last paragraph that's bolded.
Yeah, it says fines, it's just, I
Yeah,
think what Lori's
To
trying to
clarify
point
where the
out,
fines are located.
some people are gonna say, oh, they're putting brand new fines in there for us. No, there's a fine in there now for long-term leases, and it only is long-term leases until and if you guys approve to put this on the AGM for the membership to vote on, and they approve it. If you have a long-term rental and you fail to supply the association with a copy of your lease, it's $100 fine and $10 a day for every day that you don't notify the association. We could modify that, but right now, that's the fine that's sitting on the books,
I think that's a good addition.
you know?
any other questions or comments? AJ?
Has Richard reviewed this?
He did last year, and until I know you guys wanna put it on the AGM ballot, this is basically what he reviewed last year. And I took out all the things he said we need to take out, because we can't do it. But we could send it to him if you approve to put it on. If we're not gonna put it on, it's a waste of our money to have him review it. Correct? Am I wrong?
Well, no, usually we would want our lawyer to buy off on something before we put it on.
Yes, so he has weighed into it, and that is, it's correct, right now we can do this, and he suggests that we should follow through with this. It's the only way we can move forward with SDR leases or rentals and registrations.
Did you have something?
Well, I understand that, but I guess we just got this tonight and literally
Excuse me?
I said we just got this tonight and we sat down, like, so I won't be voting for it.
Okay.
I think
We're
Tom.
changing it,
Who was next?
as we
Tom
got
was
it when we got it, like.
Right, Katie.
Thank you.
Yeah, my question pretty much got answered.
Go ahead, sir, I didn't hear you.
No, my question pretty much got answered, I was just gonna question.
Oh, okay, no
the
worries.
fine schedule and.
And Ray or Lori, Ray?
Ray and then.
Well, last meeting, Daniel was talking about some STR rules, or they're working on putting stuff together. So last night, did they do a full presentation of what they came up with?
We did not have a meeting last night because nothing had, there's been no feedback from the board, so we didn't have anything to go on. So we moved the meeting until I believe next week. So we submitted everything to the board. The short-term rental committee submitted everything, or not committee, task force, submitted everything, and now we're waiting feedback.
That was the last board meeting?
Mm-hmm.
Just last week.
It's just, yeah.
Yeah,
We're having so many
hasn't
yeah.
been that long, and that's why this is the first you got it. Jane, David, and,
Barbara.
Daniel.
Yeah, they were here, but.
No, but Jane sat for a long time, and I think she started
She was
on
on
the
your
committee.
committee, she is.
And she had said the thing that's really holding things up is there's nothing that defines short-term rentals in our bylaws.
Lori?
That, so reading that, looking at the short-term rental,
Yes.
when we started the task force, this statement, any member or owner leasing or renting property for less than 30 days is considered a short-term rental under Washington law. Okay, that was the premise we started with, and as the task force progressed, we found a lot of exceptions to that rule, that if the owner's living there or blah, 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 where it could be you could have a rental for a night or more, under 30 days, and it not be considered a short-term rental under Washington state law. So, this is a question, comment for Richard to review, is could we, as an association, just say 30 days is considered a short-term rental and shall be required to meet all county and state regulations, and take out the word under Washington law and just make it part of our, this is our bylaws, part of our bylaws that we're defining a short-term rental of 30 days or less. Do we have to be in line exactly with what we over? No, we don't have to be in line, or no, we get,
You could strike that language.
okay.
Yeah.
That would be my recommendation, because there is always gonna be someone who says, oh, but,
Well, and Olympia may
We're
change
into it, go
that.
ahead, sir.
And Olympia may change that. So,
right, so.
yeah, the bylaws, the two areas that really are important, the committee nailed it, right? That you have to register, and you have to provide the copy of the lease if you're long-term. And you gotta provide a 24/7 contact.
Right, and that was the objective. So basically, this is just breaking it up, saying, if it's under 30 days, it's a registration form. If it's over 30 days, it's a lease. And everything else pretty much is remaining the same.
And the lease requirement's already on the books.
Yes,
Yes,
so right now, if you wanted to look at it, since it's just leasing, if somebody rents out their house for 3 days, they technically have to provide the lease to us.
Correct.
So this is actually making it easier on people who rent their house out for shorter periods. Okay.
Tom, then you, yep, Tom?
Yeah, I would just suggest, after the short-term rentals, we should say 30 days or less is considered a short-term rental.
Oh, instead of property, it says, I put it
Did I-
for less than 30
It
days.
said less than 30 days.
Do you want it to say property? It says renting property in the first line for less than 30 days.
Yeah, real estate law, Tom, it is a month, it's
Sorry, I
30-day rental going or more.
I misread it.
No worries. Stu?
Okay, so just for clarification, so it's been vetted by Richard that we have to put something in our bylaws, but the language that Linda is proposing, we have not seen before, and Richard has not.
Say that again, I'm sorry.
So it's been vetted by Richard that we have to put something in our bylaws,
Yes.
but the language that Linda is proposing has not been reviewed by Richard, and we're being asked to vote on that language, or we're being asked to vote on something being put in our bylaws.
It's what I asked him to look at last year. He looked at it. He had a couple of suggestions, and it was like to make sure that we took out the fact that we no longer can tell people how many adults or how many people they have in there.
Yes.
You know, there's different things. He looked at this, and you guys all looked at this a year ago.
Yeah, so Richard did come back with recommendations to remove some certain items that we had in there previously, and those have been removed.
Okay.
which is why they're like that
And that was
strikeout on the first page.
Short-term rental language that was.
Correct. Correct.
For some reason, I don't remember that.
No worries, you're so busy, yeah, no worries at all, yeah. So yeah, this has been brought back to us now, kind of redacted and changed accordingly.
And when it's finalized, or we decide that we've got the language that we want in there, is Richard going to review it again, or are we gonna consider that good enough?
Well, I suppose he could, every time we do it, it's
It's almost
like
like-
an expense, but.
Yeah, I know, but it's only like, what, 4 or 5 paragraphs, so, what is that?
4 or 5
$2,000.
200-300, yeah. But
Picks up a piece of paper, it costs.
yes, following his direction, this is how this has been redone, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna be a pain.
Okay, Lori, go ahead.
I'm just reading it,
No,
the short-term rental. Any member, owner, leasing or renting property for less than 30 days is considered a short-term rental. Is that 30 days a year? Is that 30 days at a time?
I think it's 30
I
days.
mean,
at a
it is
time.
30 days at a time. I know that's what our intention is, 30 days at a
At
time.
any time.
Right, but
Yeah,
is it,
yeah.
could that be misinterpreted?
I don't see how.
Okay.
so like
I'm
2
good with
days
that.
a week for 15
I mean,
days.
I know what the intent is, so I'm just kind of reading, and I know things get picked
If you
apart.
rent it for 29 days and then it's vacant
Yes.
for 2, and you rent it for 29 days.
That's
vacant for 2, those are both short-term
That's how
rentals.
Right.
I read it.
Yes, they're all
I just wanna make sure that it's clear to anyone reading it, that it's rental properties less than 30 days at a time, not 30
Correct.
days
For the year.
a year.
Do we want us, you could,
I
for
don't
less
know.
than 30 days at a time is considered, we can add after 30 days, at a time.
Yeah, if I were to have written it, Linda, I would have written it just like this,
It's-
but I'm just being the devil's advocate, kind of,
So are we, go ahead, I'm
we
sorry.
good?
No, I was just gonna say, we've looked at a number of properties over the years thinking, well, maybe we'll buy like into an HOA and do a short-term rental, we never did, but a lot of them would say like 30 days is the minimum, is the minimum you can rent, they never say at a time.
Okay,
It's just like, that's kind of standard just to say 30
Cool.
days.
I'm good.
I've seen
You're
it in a
good?
number of contracts.
I'm good, I was just trying to,
Yeah,
I was just trying to read
No
I
worries.
gotcha.
between the lines and see if I could poke holes in it, since it's going into bylaws. I mean, I'd rather poke holes in it before we put it out there than have to change it next
did you
year.
have siblings where you went like this a lot in the car?
No, I didn't.
Has the committee,
Go ahead, sir.
has the committee reviewed this?
The short-term task force? No. That we're waiting, nothing's been presented from the board for us to review.
But based on the short-term rental task force that we
Yeah.
we can't really proceed without this, without their
Without something.
recommendations with having this. So this kind of goes hand in hand with what they recommended.
Yeah, I guess I would have thought they would have reviewed this and it would have been part of their recommendation, but.
Well, just speaking from a member of the task force, discussion that the bylaws there needed to be a change in the bylaws was known. Also, that was known that the board could handle that without the task force. It's a temporary task force, it's not a committee. So we came up with the ideas for the board and leaving the language of changing the bylaw in the hands of the board.
Thank you very much. Michael?
So the statute wording, I mean, we crossed out Washington law.
Yes.
So the statute is the best definition, it just says, for fewer than 30 consecutive nights. That's the state law definition of a short-term rental.
So, under that recommendation, so we currently have strike under Washington law, we should say for further than,
Yeah, Washington law, 6437-010 says a short-term rental means
64,
6437.010.
Does that sound good to you, Linda?
010,
Yeah.
Let's see
for
what
further
happens
than less than
fewer
30
It
days.
says where a dwelling unit or part of one is offered or provided to a guest for a fee for fewer than 30 consecutive nights.
So we'd like that
Consecutive nights
verbiage
Yeah,
stated.
fewer than 30 consecutive
instead of days.
nights.
And that answers then your question too
That
about
sounds even better.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
that really kind
For
of,
fewer
yeah,
than 30
than 30
consecutive.
consecutive nights
nights.
is considered a short-term rental.
we had some very, 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 very good people on this short-term task force, and poking holes in things and finding loopholes was something that everyone on the task force found and brought up and tried to put like a stopper on so that it would not leave things up for discussion. It was just flat out.
Alright, so the question we have now, we have a motion and a second to bring it forth as is, and then we have a recommendation to strike under Washington law, and a further recommendation to actually add 64.37.010 for 30 days. 30 day,
For less than
Fewer than-
30
fewer than-
consecutive
yeah.
nights is
30
considered a
consecutive
short-term rental. Then we don't have to split.
so we need to amend this.
I can do that,
Yeah.
we still have to come back on the 11th and
We
take one final look at everything that's in the booklet. And, once it gets rewritten, whatever.
So the motion currently stands as is though, but we can vote on that, and then we can vote and then amend to make changes now, or we can vote and then deny it currently as it sits, and then have her bring it back with the words, the verbiage added that we're asking for. It's just a time thing, you know?
Because we have a little bit of time, I would say we vote on it with the changes.
Okay,
I would like to go ahead with that.
I can send it out to the board then too.
Yeah,
Send
the
an
two.
email, a copy of the corrected draft.
I'll vote to amend and approve with changes.
And that first change under result in the fine to the owner of the property per the fine schedule, was
It's
that?
defined as defined by the fee.
As
Fines and
defined
fee
by our
schedule.
fee and fine schedule,
Okay,
to make sure they know it isn't a new fine.
Great.
Because everybody's gonna be looking at this stuff.
Yeah, so everything will stand as is. The only thing we'll be changing is the under Washington state law.
And in
There's a
section
couple,
seven,
how
it's
about
changed in section
if
seven,
we vote to
as
move
defined
this,
by the fine, fees and fine schedule, fines and fees.
All right, go ahead, Linda.
if we vote to move this forward, I will go home when I'm not doing the rest of the booklet and getting the budget in there. I will make a correction to this, send it out to all the board members in an email, and y'all can look at
And I can put it in the board packet for next.
it. First, yeah,
The 11th.
Yeah.
the whole packet's gonna get, the whole
By Tuesday.
booklet's gonna be in there.
So what we're basically saying, we're gonna bring it back on the 11th for a final.
For one final look at it.
Yeah.
It's just I hate putting it in the booklet if we're not even gonna consider it then.
All right,
It's just a waste of time.
I thought we were gonna
An
vote
effort.
on it now with the changes.
I know, that's
and
that's why I'm saying, if we don't vote on it tonight, it makes no sense to put it in there and we just put it off for another year.
no, we can't put it off for another year because then
It's
we
a
have to
big
listen
issue.
to STR, right, the task force that was committed to checking this out. We need to include this in there so we can proceed next year with STR.
Then we need to vote.
And it's something the community wants. From
So-
what we've been seeing.
We'll take a vote tonight on approving, the
The
short.
draft with changes.
Thank you, the draft with changes. So the recommended changes by our consensus here, and you make a note of it, and Linda, you made a
Linda
note
has
of
them,
it,
yeah.
correct?
Yep.
Okay. So all in favor of moving forward with the short-term rental measure with the said changes? All in favor? AJ?
I'm abstaining, we didn't get any chance to review this.
Okay, so you have that majority, and then you'll bring that back on the 11th
Yep,
for final review and approval at that time.
yep.
Thank you. All right, and then you have measure 3.
Measure 3, which is an advisory vote. And from going to 2 town halls, I've heard everything from soup to nuts. And one of the things that people said is, we haven't had a voice in this, the membership hasn't. Although we've had the town halls and people can attend. So I put in here 2 options. Everybody, you know, the word on the street is we're gonna build the $8.4 million building. And since then, we have said, no, we're going to have a pavilion project, but it's gonna be an enclosed pavilion that's estimated at 3.1 million and will require no special assessment to the membership. Or option 2, and you only vote for one of them, to decide whether we go with the 2-story estimate at 8.4 as an enclosed structure that would require a special assessment for all members of $13 per month for 15 years. You know, and that it gives them a chance, the biggest chance, I guess, that we look at what does the membership really want. Even when the other advisory vote we took was in there, not that many people out of 3,100 of us voted on it, but it's the only way to reach out to everybody and say, hey, you have a chance to vote on this. We have time to announce it between now and the AGM to encourage people to vote their choice.
Thank you, we'll make
So that's where I'm
I'll
at
make a
here.
motion, then we'll have time to discuss.
So I'll go ahead and make a
Yes, go
motion.
ahead, please.
I would make a motion that the board approve putting measure 3, the advisory vote, on the November AGM.
Second.
That's, okay, now we have questions and comments, and we have Lori first.
I bet you guys like it when I'm on vacation.
Go for it, girl, I got you.
I completely understand the two options. The problem I have with this, an advisory vote such as this, is exactly the same as the problem I had with the one in 2023. It doesn't tell you what the repercussions are if you vote this, like option 1, approve the pavilion about 3.1. Okay, so if we approve that, what's gonna happen, like barn 8 is kind of left out of it. So is it possible, or is it appropriate, that either in the explanation, we kind of expand more on what's gonna happen with barn 8? Because if we approve barn 6, as a enclosed structure requiring no special assessment, then barn 8, and then what's gonna happen with barn 8? You know, kind of more go into that. And option 2, approve the barn 6 project 2-story, and then what would happen with barn 8 and what are the things, so that people know, because they're almost going hand in hand. It's not like we can just do this and barn 8's gonna stay as is.
Yeah.
So maybe if we have something further telling them, because
Expand upon.
yeah, because it's like what if they think that, okay, great, no assessment, I'm gonna approve 1, that means we're gonna get a new barn 8, we're gonna do barn 6, it's gonna be no special assessment, but that's really kind of misleading, because something has to happen with barn 8. So kind of knowing when they go hand in hand, because maybe if they just do the barn 6 pavilion, 1-story pavilion, what's gonna happen when we have to do barn 8? Is there gonna be a special assessment then? You know, that's just, I don't even know how, because we're just seeing this now. I don't even know how it should be included in there, if it's appropriate to include in there. I'm just saying that as a voter, I don't think this gives me enough information to make a decision.
Fair enough.
Well, there's also two more options that aren't on there. There's a $1.1 million open air pavilion and just nothing.
That's not on here though,
I know,
yeah.
but they should be.
And
Like
it's,
this is a fake choice to the membership to choose
right, yeah, it's
between,
very, exactly.
hey, spend a ton of money or spend a shitload ton of money. Like, you know, that's all it is. Like, you know, you're not giving them all the options at their
And
disposal,
that's-
so it's not a real survey of what the membership wants.
Right,
It's a survey of what the membership says based on what you guys want. That's what it is.
But it doesn't, it's not as with, if you're saying you guys is the board,
Yes.
it's not even really reflecting that because it doesn't show what's barn 8, because they're going hand in hand. I mean, it depends on, you know, if you did the 1-story pavilion and then when we do barn 8, what's gonna happen? Is that 1-story, is that gonna be sufficient enough to house everything that's done in barn 8, or is it going, or is barn 8, is there gonna be a shutdown of certain services? Like, is the gym gonna be shut down because they can't relocate that to the pavilion? You know, kind of what's gonna happen, and I think it's just, to have an advisory vote, this is giving them false hope, because when they do one, they're making assumptions of what's gonna happen with barn 8 instead of us telling them what the barn 8 options are. And I don't know how to do it, I don't have any recommendations, maybe Linda does, or,
One of those.
yeah, so it's just reading it the first time.
Where my whole issue is I have no idea. I know that the price of the barn 8, complete with the structural stuff and everything in it, is now $4 million, just under $4 million, where before we were at what? 200,000, how much were we at for the remodel?
Oh, you mean
Nine,
before they came down step?
800,000 for the remodel,
It was around like 1.2.
Yeah.
1.2.
Yeah.
So now we've grown all that.
Three.
Nobody has come back to me, and I'm sitting on the board, and said, definitely, this is what we're gonna do with this. I have read the structural report, and after reading, if we had had the structural report when we did the first advisory committee, you might have, advisory vote, that might have been something different. Because the problem is, it's possible if we're gonna fix this place, we have nowhere to go while it's being fixed. If you read carefully through the report, it talked about you might be closed for 2 months here, you might be closed an X number of months, well, they take out the roof, then the dance floor has to come out and be replaced. And that's another, how much time is that gonna take? Which means this room gets to come apart. We have nowhere to have meetings, we have nowhere to have an AGM. And it's like, all I know is what's in that structural report, and it radically changed my mind about what I wanted to see done with Barn 6. And it's like, do I believe that we need an $8 million building? Well, that will be my vote that I will vote. But I think we need something there that is going to give us an opportunity to still continue as a community while we decide what are we gonna do with this building. You know, that's the scary thing for me.
So maybe leave this as is and just in the explanation put down here, like we can vote, prefer a replacement of barn 6, and please, and somehow note barn 8. So people know, because it's just almost.
The dollar amount or?
Yeah, is
what we're
something,
faced with.
is there a difference? Does doing option 1 or option 2 actually change what we do with barn 8?
Right, right.
And if it doesn't, when we do barn 8, will that change what we do with the facilities here if option 1 or option 2 is? I mean, obviously, option 2 would be just kind of the spaces in the new barn 6 would just be reassigned for a period of time while this is done. Like, there might not be a senior center, that might be the gym, or there might not be an open court area, that might be the gym, or whatever. Versus if it's open air pavilion isn't even on here anymore. So if it's an enclosed structure,
Yeah.
are they going to be able to, I mean, is there gonna be a place for locker rooms that they have to remove that put the gym in there? Will it be a period of time where there's no locker rooms? Just so people kind of know that eventually barn 8 is gonna have to be done, and this is what barn 8 will look like if option 1 or option 2 is chosen.
So it also serves then an option, or let people know that it serves in an interim space during the barn 8 reconfiguration, or whatever we need to do here, that could be utilized for some of those.
Yeah, I think it's just because it's just kind of looks at it, like this is an independent, and whatever happens to barn 8 has nothing to do with this, or what's
That is
gonna
correct.
happen with barn 8. If barn 8's gonna be basically the barn 6 project option 2, if that's what it's gonna kind of look like,
Yeah.
then maybe we don't need 2 of those, we only need 1 of those.
Yeah,
But if the barn is not gonna be restyled to have like the features of option 2, then you might not wanna do option 1. I mean, it's just kinda,
right,
you just don't
right,
have enough information to make a decision.
right. Very good. Stu? I see you over there this time.
It's easier to get your attention while I'm here, that's for sure. Kind of along the lines of what Lori was saying, first of all, I'll just say I actually don't really like advisory boards, advisory votes, but that's okay. We can do them. So I would think that what we would want to do is say, okay, we have 2 barns. We're gonna go out with an advisory vote. We should say, this is long-range plan 1, that includes both barns. Long-range plan 2 includes both things. multiple barns, long range plan 3, however many we want. But the board has to decide what those 2 or 3 plans are. And that's what the board should be presenting to the community to do an advisory vote on. Because there's a million different options, but the board really needs to kind of decide what we're going to present to the community.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, and I think where this came from, and I don't know for sure, but hearing everybody's feedback and so forth was on the Barn 6 pavilion coming back is basically another Barn 8, that they were opposed to that. It seemed like it, more opposed to that, and wanting more of the pavilion, which was in the advisory vote, and, and I agree with you on advisory votes. The board has to take no action on advisory votes, or just advice only, and you still have to do what's the best, for the community. Came back with, we want a pavilion. And the only difference between the pavilion and that then and this now is it's enclosed. Is really kind of the only difference. And it does serve the function like Lori is getting to. It's an interim space for Barn 8, because we came up with almost $4 million here on Barn 8 for the remodel, yeah. Exactly, so we can move some structures over there, some offices over there in the interim while this is being rehabbed or rebuilt.
I think it should be presented as
Or-
long range plan 1, long range plan 2.
Yeah,
Because these are not things that are gonna be, we're gonna start construction on one if it's approved,
Yeah,
one or the other, whatever the plan is. But, sorry,
I don't see that you have your own warrant yet.
I just put it up.
go ahead, AJ.
Well, I mean, I agree with what Stu's saying, like the budget shows a $4 million loan to do repairs to this barn. To me, this doesn't, the membership's gonna look at this and they're just gonna be like, we're not even being given the choices, so it sounds to me like the logic train is because services in this building could be temporary interrupted for times. We're now 100% justified in an extra $2 million on a building that the membership didn't even want, like a 2-point whatever enclosed space that was proposed, the logic train doesn't track.
Anyone else? Linda?
I'd like to answer Stu's question about advisory votes. Our bylaws have 2 things that I can ask for. I can ask to amend our bylaws, or I can ask for a special assessment that costs money. I suppose I could put this up as a Barn 6 one that was a special assessment and simply say, should we move forward with the Barn 6 pavilion project with no special assessment charge to any of the members? I can do that because it's discussing special assessments. I don't have anything in there to just ask. I know that's weird, I think of we've had special, we bought equipment special, but that's a special assessment, it's something that you can name. We put money toward, the operations budget one year, and there was something else in there too, but there were 3 different things, but it all required changes in money, so it was okay, and you could do that. And it's just, I started looking at all that, and it's like, you're really limited because that's what our bylaws say. And normally, if you're gonna ask for a special assessment, it should be according to Wakiowa. You have to be able to say, yes, it's absolutely this amount of money, it's this project, and be able to really, as you point out, exactly say how the money's gonna be spent. If I look at Joel's new numbers for all the stuff that needs to be done in Barn 8, I could give a really good breakdown. But there's a chance, and it even says that in the structural report, there may be things they don't know. But at least you have a really good breakdown, but it's why I went ahead and did the advisory vote. Is it perfect? No, I admit that. But our bylaws don't allow us to just say, well, what do you want me to do? And list a whole bunch of things. You do that with surveys, but you can't do that until we amend our bylaws to allow for that sort of voting, because right now we just don't have it. So that's kind of why it works the way it does. And if you don't wanna do it, that's fine.
So what,
It's just, we heard a lot of complaints and a lot of people saying they, you know, how does the membership get to make a decision on if we want a $3 million or $8 million building? That's,
Or not either of
Thank you.
those two things.
Ray?
Well, I've been living
Continue
this,
to point that
Well,
out.
hold on, Ray. Go ahead.
being on long range planning committee and other people that I work with on that committee, we've been living this quite a bit and made quite a few trips to the architect. And, from the two, town meetings that we've had, the first one that we proposed, 8.4, and we had a lot of feedback, a lot of good ideas, that we had some major acceptance in that. I got several emails, I talked to a lot of people. Great, $13, great. But the 8.4 thing got kind of like kiboshed. Like, really, that's a big number, and people really don't want to pay any money, but they want something. So that got kiboshed, and so the pavilion, which was done by advisory, it was open pavilion, which, you know, we all know that, but we're all looking for something, you know, among the committee anyway. That's what we came up, was trying to get something we could use year-round and not just a part-time of the year. And we're trying to have a pavilion that we could have, you know, more than just sports courts, but several different activities, you know, dancing and square dancing, kids stuff, kids with trikes in the winter, and stuff that we could use year-round, and including putting a kitchen in there, so we could actually have some meals and have some meeting rooms, so that all the committees that do meet in Barn 8, once there's something done, they've got some place to meet, including, you know, board meetings and the art committee and the garden club, I mean, all the stuff. There are lots of committees that they do use this building for meetings. And a lot of them, they meet right out there in the lobby, because there's no place. And the library gets used a lot, but there's lots of stuff that happens to keep this community going. And Close Pavilion could do that. But in this particular measure here, we're really not telling the whole story. Because really 8.4 million, that's really not an option anymore, I don't believe. I really think that the community needs something like a pavilion that's enclosed, something we can use year-round. But it doesn't stop there at the pavilion. We still have Barn 8.
Yeah.
And we need to say that we're still working on exactly what needs to go into that, and what, if it's gonna be a demo, or if it's gonna be, you know, remodeled. I don't think the remodel of 4.7, I think that was kind of going away, but we really don't have a full, clear idea on the board that we can present yet, that I know of. So I think, you know, we can mention that we could, you know, are you guys for a pavilion with no assessment, and this is what's gonna be in it? And we'll continue to work on what is needed for the community in Barn 8. We're not there yet, we don't know. And our committee, I mean, they're not meeting tonight because we had this meeting, but they're in the process of putting a survey together, which they did ask for a survey. Every town meeting, they've asked for a survey. And so we went back to the one that was done in 2020, just to see what that was all about, and we can put any questions on there, where they're just working on it. I don't think it's gonna happen. It'll take a couple months to put together, but there will be a survey going out. People are asking for that. What do you want in Barn 8? Will be on there.
Okay, AJ first, and then we'll go to you, AJ.
So just to clarify, we're not doing the renovations to Barn 8 now? Or that is unknown at this time?
That's a question? Okay, is it, I wonder, yeah. So currently, that is under question because the amount of the upgrades in here is 3.8, so say 4 million with the ADA and stuff like that. You're looking at $4 million into this space. Is it worth putting $4 million in this space when you could have a brand new barn 8, say, or a community center, whatever you wanna call it, for hopefully around 6 million, would be the question. So you have a brand new building with the projected lifespan versus an unknown with putting 4 million into it. That's the question that kind of been facing the board for a while, since we had the forensic structural study done.
But our budget tonight shows a $4 million loan for renovations to Barney.
It actually
To balance.
both barns would be, if that's another question, would be barn 6 and barn 8 are both kind of inclusive in that study. And Joel could probably answer more to that.
So the logic train is now we need to spend even more than the $4 million on this building and also ask the membership for 3 million on the other building when they wanted 1.1, not even 2.
So if I could answer that for you then, really the logic was behind that is spending 4 million on this one, 8.4 on a barn 6. And some people brought up, well, now you have duplicate structures, so that's 12 million, right? So we're at 12 million. The idea is to try to get 2 brand new structures, right? And closer to the $8 million range, or say even the $10 million range, to have 2 new structures. So you'd have a new barn 8, basically, and then a new pavilion, which is kind of what the advisory vote went toward. They wanted a pavilion, a sports complex. It's more for kids and like the craft fairs and things like that to happen over there.
Do you, like, Laura just got done saying like, this doesn't explain anything of what's happening. Stu just got done saying we need this can't go forward. I'm sorry, but this is like all just very contradictory, like.
Well,
now the plan for barn 8 has changed.
It's not, hasn't changed.
The
It's not
membership
voted on.
isn't even aware of that, I don't think.
Well, that'll come out, right? So that's all stuff.
That this is gonna be a new building now too? So we're gonna get 2 new buildings? Like, I don't think that's the thing.
Yeah.
No one's actually talking about that because everyone was outraged about one $8.4 million building. Now we're looking at like 2 buildings to the tune of 10 to 20 million?
No one said 10 to 20, so don't throw that out there. The idea was.
Somewhere in that range, right? 8 and 6 or 8 and 3?
So, 3, exactly, so.
4.
So it's less than the 2 buildings together combined. If we're putting 4 into a 70-year-old building and we can get 2 buildings for, we're talking about 12 million roughly, right, for 2 buildings. Hopefully we get in more to like 10, 11 for 2 new buildings. So it's in the same ballpark range, but we have 2 new structures, all up to code, all ADA accessible and things like that. So it's just more of a logic, like looking at it logically.
Yeah, logic, get everyone to pay for it.
Well, it's hopefully gonna be less or the same, right? So that's where it's looking at, but nothing has been said or done yet.
It's
Right now, the
it's less
advisory
than the
vote-
same based off of the metric that you're setting, though. That's what that's the point I'm trying to get across. You're setting the benchmark, not the membership. And then you're trying to gauge the membership's reaction to the benchmark.
AJ, what we're
instead of
doing right
giving them
now-
an actual option.
What we're doing right now is talking about the pavilion, barn 6. That's the discussion tonight, what we're gonna do with barn 6. So originally, the advisory vote was to do an open air pavilion over there. That's okay, let me finish, please. That's an advisory vote, right? As Stu, I don't like advisory votes either, because the board.
That's not what I'm agreeing with Stu on, though.
I didn't say that you did. What I'm saying is that's an advisory vote. The board looked at it. Please, don't interrupt. The board looked at it and said it would make more sense to have an enclosed pavilion that could be used year-round. Not just in 3 or 4 months out of the year, it could be used year-round for a lot of different things. So that's what we're talking about tonight, is the pavilion 6. So barn 8 is still up there, and yes, we have to address it, there's no doubt about it. We have the reports, we have to address it. That's.
Okay, I just, I'm glad it's clear that the board has decided that the membership is getting an enclosed structure there.
Okay, Linda has a comment, then Lori has a comment, and then
Thank
I
you,
wanna
sorry.
say something.
Go ahead, Lori.
Linda first.
And
No,
then I
let
just- I'm sorry.
Lori go first, let Lori go first.
If we learned anything from the 2023 advisory vote, which was written very similar to this and left a lot of unknowns there, we know that it caused confusion within the community. Something as important as this, when we're talking close to $10 million or a little over $10 million, or even if we're talking $4 million, it's not something that should be rushed. We shouldn't rush to put it on an advisory vote. It would, since the advisory vote is essentially really just a survey, it would seem to make sense to let the long-range planning committee come up with the whole picture and present the whole picture via an independent survey and get that back. Because whenever you put it on a ballot and you have the word vote there, people think that's just automatically vote binding, and it's a mindset, and we're still hearing the repercussions of a poorly written advisory vote in 2023. So if we do a poorly written advisory vote in 2025, we're just never gonna make headway. So we don't have time, by the time we have to get this stuff printed, to actually have feedback from the long-term planning committee, get everything in here. My suggestion is to scrap the measure 3, let the long-range planning committee do what they've been tasked to do, come up with a full picture plan like Stu suggested, and put it out there in a survey like it looks like you guys are already working on.
So my rebuttal to that is that long-range planning committee has been doing this, and the response is, we need to do something with barn 6, something's gotta be done. We're at that point now where something has to be done. It's either gonna fall down, or we need to have a plan to take it down and to rebuild in that area. The long-range planning committee came back with an 8.4 million, basically a duplicate barn, if you will, of this barn, with having senior spaces and all those kind of spaces. I felt that was a little bit confronted at the meetings, and other ideas came back with, why not just go back to the pavilion? So I think long-range planning committee went back to the idea of having the pavilion. The only difference is it's enclosed. They have an enclosed structure now, which allows us or affords us the opportunity that if we go through, we have to do major renovations here, like either, you know, like you're saying, either the renovations have to be done or we're tearing it. We have to decide that, what's more economical and our fiduciary responsibility to the community, what is best money spent. That allows us the ability to move rec and some things over there in the interim while this place is being torn down. We do have like pool facilities here, the pool equipment, the showers, things like that, that per our pool rules need to stay operational. And we need to have our pool equipment running the whole time while we're doing this renovation. So that's kind of where they came back and said, we need to do maybe the enclosed pavilion and that's it, no more than that, not adding a bunch of stuff, not adding a second story, just adding what the community wants for the children, a place, you know, for the children to play, a basketball court, a
Meeting room,
multi-sport.
we got a kitchen in there, people,
a what?
we proposed a kitchen in there.
Yeah, a warming kitchen.
Yeah,
Yeah, warming or prep kitchen in over there and things like that. So it's kind of still at the minimal, a little bit above what.
You're not, it's not a rebuttal to what I was saying though. I wasn't saying anything about that. I was just saying with something this important, why rush it to put an advisory vote when it's really just a community survey and let the long range planning committee put together the survey. They could probably get one out before the AGM. And it just doesn't have to go.
Not get responses.
We couldn't, but
Or
the thing
or
is,
once again, you'll be told you're
more
rushing it.
for barn 8 is really what it's for, we've already proposed.
But how do you make a decision on barn 6 without knowing barn 8? I couldn't.
so they're two separate buildings, right?
But money wise,
Well, you've just intertwined them and said they have mixed uses all over.
right,
We need
so.
them to be duplicative so we can continue
Well,
the services without.
That was the 8.4 was.
Yeah, so
was
if
a
we do
duplicate.
an open air
agree.
pavilion there, I'm not open air, sorry, a enclosed pavilion there, and really did this up very similar to like the barn 8 plan ones that had everything that we needed.
Yeah.
And that could probably put us in, what you said, about 6 or so?
8.4 for to do,
For this.
Where's the
No.
money for?
4 year,
But didn't we kind of already say, or the
8.4
community already said that you
whatever.
want
Was that
this?
original for the barn
Right.
six?
We went back to the 3.1.
So if you did the 3 yeah, I just, to me, as a voter, I don't have enough information to make that, and I think you're gonna get people that might, that if they vote on this 3.1, and then we say down the road, okay, so now we have to do this with barn 8, and because we don't have the facilities in barn 6 to house this, now this is closing, and this is closing, and this is closing, they said, well, what if I would have known that, I might have voted for option 2. You see what I'm saying?
so yeah, that's why you wanted more information, I wrote that down actually.
Yeah, but it's, I think it's real, I mean, is there a reason it has to be an advisory vote versus?
Quite honestly,
Just
in
explain.
my opinion, it did not. The advisory vote was done, this is really a board decision, and the board needs to do what's best, right? What they think is best, but we're
Isn't that,
representatives of
that's
the
what they
community.
entrusted us to.
How do I say this? There's nothing in the bylaws. That's what I was trying to answer Stu about. I can ask for a bylaw change, and I can ask for a special assessment.
But this is
I know, but there's nothing in our bylaws
that allows this?
that allows it. That allows something that's a binding vote
Yeah,
that would be like bylaws is 2/3.
right, well, that's not what this is trying to do,
I
right?
know,
Okay.
that,
That's
this
why we want
almost
to
is like a
that's what we meant.
survey.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, it's like, is it the reason you wanna do this advisory vote is because you think you'll get more member response than if you did it as a survey?
I'm just saying, people, and Ray can confirm this, that a lot of people said, how is a way that you can get the whole community to make a decision on this, that we haven't had that ability to do that. When
So
we
this
were
is just when
we're talking about, yes,
So do you get
when
the
we're talking about barn 6, I'm still not obligated to do anything. But if you wait until you have all the information about barn 8 and you put them all together, you either pay for a special election, right? Or you wait till next year for another year, and then that building sits there for another year and decays, and so does this.
Yeah, no, I'm not
So-
saying wait, I don't know why everybody's getting that I'm saying wait and don't do anything on barn 6. I'm just saying, let's put something out there that that allows the community to make an informed decision. I mean, look, we had this town hall on barn 6 with this huge 8.4 million, and the main thing brought up on social media wasn't special assessment, wasn't the amount, it was we're inviting outside people into our community. So it's like, and that wasn't even the point of this, so it's like, I just don't think there's enough information, and I would hate to see something rushed, and then the community holding us to, like, not, holding us accountable if we don't choose their vote. And regardless if it says advisory, it says anything else there, the fact of the matter that it says vote, and people think vote is, this is my say, this is what I'm voting for, this is what I want to happen, and because it's a vote, it should happen.
It's not even in the budget.
You've had lots of turns.
Are we,
I'm done.
AJ had his hand up first, and then Tom.
But it's not in the budget. Like, if we have to do something immediately with that building, there's nothing in 10 years in our capital budget for that building.
Yes, there is.
Where?
It's on there. The ice barn line item is still on there. It's just been pushed out to 2036 and 2037.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, it's pushed out 10 years.
Yeah.
Like, but everyone here is sitting here saying that building needs to get dealt with immediately, but the budget shows we're dealing with it in 10 years.
right, and that's because of this building.
Like,
Because Kingworth said to fix this building, it's an asset that's on our, it's one of our assets, and to fix it, it's
Like-
3.75 million, then.
but the, yeah,
It's 4 million.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is like, and this isn't what you, like, I'm saying everyone, like, multiple people here have just said like that barn needs to get dealt with immediately, but there's no funding in our budget for 10 years for it. Which means it's going to sit there for 10 years until we even start a design on it,
Well, that's-
unless we're doing,
That's not necessarily true, because we have,
well, then the
We have-
budget's not representative of the question, so we shouldn't ask it.
I would kind of disagree with that logic, because we do have money in here for barn 8, we have money for barn 6 right now. The question is,
You have money for barn 6 10 years from now,
no,
is where it is in the budget.
we had it already in there, some
For
monies for barn
2025.
6, and we have monies for barn 8 in there, currently.
He
The
just said it was
question
pushed
is-
out to 2020.
That's this
10
budget
years.
for 2026 budget coming up, right?
Yeah.
So the question was, do we spend the money for barn 8 to do, and we have to take a loan out to do the correct repairs for barn 8?
But we just changed the whole budget.
Alright, well, you know how it works, you were president for how long, so you know how it works, right? You have to sometimes.
Yeah, we
move
just
money.
changed the budget, it doesn't say what it says anymore after the vote to approve it.
You have to move the money where it's needed, right? And you have to do what's right for the community, or what you think is the best representation for the community.
No, what I'm saying is that, okay, I don't think you understand what I'm saying.
I totally understand it, Tom?
Yeah, I keep hearing the statement, a lot of people have said this, and a lot of people have said that. I mean, are we talking about people from the town halls? Are we talking about Facebook?
That's
Who
correct.
are all these people that are saying stuff?
Town hall,
If they're
all
asking
the
for-
questions that were asked at
They
various town
were asking for a
halls.
survey
Yeah,
at
they're
the
right.
town hall meetings, like, we had like, 80 people, probably 20 came up, it's like, we'd like a survey.
But that's
I
not
don't
very
everybody else does
representative
what
of the
we want in
community.
barn A.
That's not a representative number of the community. You know, we seem to be basing our decisions on a few people that are angry and they're pushing for one certain thing. I personally am sick and tired of putting money into this building. We've been doing it since I moved here,
And-
2014.
And barn 6 has been sitting there, I've been here
Yeah.
10 years, it's sat
And
there
we're
with a
putting
fence around
Band-Aids
it.
on a pig, and eventually this building gonna have to be torn down, and it's money wasted. We're wasting money that we don't have to waste. But, I just don't think that, the statements that, well, these people are saying this, yeah, some people are saying it, but there's also people saying, we want this problem fixed. I've heard a lot of comments that they want the $8.4 million building on Barton 6 site. Heard a lot of people say that.
Yeah. Alright. Any additional questions or comments?
No,
Go ahead, Stu.
I'll just reiterate that it actually comes back to the entire big picture, all right? So you're saying that as well, Keith. So if we decide that we're gonna do something with barn 6, that means we have to move money from the barn 8 to barn 6. And we could do the open air pavilion, moving money from barn 8 to barn 6. And we do that without any special assessment. And that's in the budget now, is that correct?
Correct.
Say that again?
So we move the money out of barn 8 over to a barn 6 open air pavilion, and that doesn't require any special assessment, the money's there.
Yeah, I mean, you can think about it like this, and this is the best way to think about it in terms of, first of all, what I already said, that Barn 8 is, obviously Barn 8 isn't one of our assets, and so, and all this other stuff that all you guys are talking about, obviously this is all, they're ideas at this point, nothing's been completely settled yet. So at this point, Barn 8, since it's one of our assets, the King Board said it'll cost around 3.75 by the time kicked in 2026 with that 4% inflation, that's how it becomes about $4 million. So it's $4 million for that, so then we have in the budget, take out a $4 million loan for that. So you can think about it in terms of, that's what you have to work with in a sense right now. If later on, like once this budget's over and stuff, like in the future, whether it's a month or whatever away, or 2 months, or if you change the plan, basically you have already $4 million to work with a $4 million loan. And then what you do outside of that, if it becomes more than that or whatever, then that's the thing that could become a special assessment. You could think about it like that. That's exactly how it will turn out.
Yeah, so currently the proposal would be, or the measure that we're proposing would be to do the pavilion over there, an enclosed pavilion with no special assessment, or the 8.4 million, long-range planning came with both of these, so, and then, or do the $8.4 million structure over there. That's kind of what we were thinking of putting out for an advisory vote.
Right, so but the 8.4 million would require the special assessment, but it would
Correct.
still also require the loan from Barn 8 to be used for that. Right?
Well, I mean, like, you're saying if you do that for 8 million,
Right,
or you mean the two structures for 8 million?
no, the one structure, right, 'cause
So then if you did that, then, yes, you
Then
usually.
that would be a loan now.
You would have a special assessment that's up
Special
over and
assessment.
beyond the 4 million.
plus the,
Yeah.
plus the
So in a sense, we'd
4
be
million.
co-opting the 4 million from this.
It would cost the association, members money, And right now, we can put it in there with no special assessment. And like, I said, for me, we have a couple more, I've been here 10 years, things have been sitting there looking like that, it's gotten worse, but, for 10 years, and nothing's been done, so it's been kicked down the road for 10 years at least, and maybe further, that's when I came here, it was like that. We'll go, were you first or Lori?
Yes.
All right, Lori?
Okay, you can go first.
Okay, so Joel, just to clarify, currently in the proposed budget, that includes the loan payments on a $4 million loan.
That's right.
How much do we have stashed away in the bank to pay for Barn 6?
Just to pay for Barn 6?
Do we have anything designated, sitting in the bank, designated for Barn 6?
You mean like once we get into, say, like 2026?
Or 200?
Do we have cash on
Currently,
hand
In the reserve center.
like current.
in a bank account that we could have access to that has been earmarked for Barn 6?
In the 2025 budget there was, but.
Yeah, from the
So-
2025 budget, there's like 225,000.
Okay, so 220, so how much cash on hand do we have in our savings accounts that we have earmarked for Barn 6 renovations?
Well, like I said, at this,
Before, not including the loan, just right now, cash.
yeah, like if we look back at the 2025 budget,
I'm looking at, if you look at like our balance sheet and cash, do we have any cash on hand
Well, then-
earmarked for Barn 8?
yeah, then you could say about 230,000 right now
For
for
Barn 8.
2025.
And Barn 6.
What did you say?
No, for Barn 8. You told me Barn 8.
Barn 8, sorry.
You said Barn 6 is about 225, Barn 8.
I mean, so for Barn 8, it's,
No,
let's say around 1.3 million.
okay, so about 1.3 million. for Barn
That's if the
6.
2025
For
budget.
8,
Like if the 2025
Barn 8.
budget just stayed the same.
okay, so if it's about 4 million and we take out a 4 million loan and we already have 1.3, so we're only gonna use about 3 million of that 4 million
Well, I mean, but the whole
on
thing,
Barn 8.
like, once you get into the 2026 budget, then everything changes, meaning like you have a heck of a lot more assets.
So the real reason we wouldn't have, if say on option 1, the only reason there's no special assessment is because we're gonna be using funds from the proceeds from the loan,
That's correct.
which are a dues increase. So special assessment,
No,
dues
no,
increase.
the $4 million loan
Uh-huh,
can be handled without a dues increase for that $4 million loan.
but
Meaning
that's included in our
that does not
2026
require a
budget.
special assessment.
Right. But if we use that on Barn 6, that 4 million,
Yeah, like,
so we are going, when we do Barn 8, we're gonna have to have a special assessment.
Correct.
yes, that's correct.
So we're gonna have a special assessment
Down the road.
down
Yeah.
somewhere
Right,
for
yeah.
one of these.
Yeah.
This does not say that. That's what I'm getting at.
We're not
This-
talking about.
I
Unknown.
I know that's what I know. Let me get my
You're saying
crystal ball
it's
back.
known that we
No,
have
no,
to have
no, what I'm
special
saying is, so when I read this, approve the Barn 6
For Barn 8,
pavilion,
that's correct.
yeah, 3.1, and then all of a sudden, it's like, come back with Barn 8, I think it's just, I mean, there needs to be option 3, not enough information known on total barn renovation
Yeah,
projects to decide.
like, this is easy, so this is what the budget says, and basically just put it in
Yeah, it's
a
just
nutshell.
it's
Let's
misleading.
listen,
Yeah.
hold on.
So to put it in a nutshell, the 2026 budget has Barn 8, exactly what Kingworth said. It'll cost, by the time you get the 4% inflation onto it, it'll cost about $4 million to do Barn 8, right? So then we'll take care of that with a loan.
Renovations only, not anything?
Right, renovations only.
Yeah, and so the barn 6, that ice barn type, that pavilion thing, you know, for about $1 million, that's now been pushed off to 2036, 2037 range.
No, this is 3.1 million.
3.1.
3.1 million.
What are you talking about?
This,
Enclosed.
on option 1 is 3.1 million.
You're talking about your,
So
Yes.
if you just told me that to use this 3.1, to do this 3.1 million, we would have to use proceeds from the loan. That's taking away from the money that was budgeted for barn 8. So it's like we're saying, approve this budget and it's including the loan proceeds to do the repairs on barn 8. And then, oh, but we're gonna use those proceeds of that loan for barn 6 because you voted on this $3.1 million. Well, if I would have known you were going to do that, maybe I wouldn't have voted for this.
yeah, I know, I'm just saying.
I think it's just it's so misleading, and I don't wanna mislead people.
I'm just saying for barn 8, so, I mean, this is kind of along what you're talking about, so you have $4 million, right, to fix barn 8,
Mhm.
which requires a loan. Now, if for some reason, the decision becomes like later on, let's spend, I'm just making all this up, these aren't real numbers, you know, so we're gonna put $2 million into the pavilion, for a closed pavilion, whatever. And then if for some reason you can figure out how to do barn 8 for about $2 million, then you're fine, right? But if you do $2 million over there and you still wanna do $4 million for barn 8, then you're looking at about a $2 million amount that could be a special assessment, yes.
But wouldn't it be nice?
Absolutely.
It wouldn't be nice before, if you were going to make any type of vote, advisory or not, that you had that information?
Well,
In
here's,
front of you.
here's what I would say to that, is we're only discussing barn 6 right now, the pavilion, we're not
But-
discussing barn 6 and barn 8.
That's like
Any
saying,
finance
that's
you
like
do,
saying
anything.
make a decision on re-roofing your house and which roofing products you use and not taking consideration the major bathroom renovation you need to do next year. You might make a different choice in which roofing material you use, whether you go with a 20-year or a 50-year. If you are also looking at this other renovation project you had on the side, it's like we've got 2 major projects. They do go hand in hand because they need to coexist. They're not two, it's not like we're doing the barn here and a swimming pool over in gate 9. These 2 buildings work hand in hand, okay, through 5. They work hand in hand, and the money I have allocated to one, as with those loan proceeds, we would be using for another. And think if you're going to be intermingling them, instead of looking at it as this is a standalone project and this is a standalone project, look at it, it's a project that involves barns 6 and 8, and a decision should be made on the both. And by the way, I'm almost 22 years, that I've seen nothing done with the ice barn. I've seen barn 7 come
How
down,
long?
and here I have seen
It's been 22 years.
and in this barn, I have seen renovations being made because that used to be all open out there. I've seen rooms being made and painting done and things like that, and money poured into this, as Tom has said, and they've been patches. And this, if we knew the whole picture, I think we could make an informed decision. I think just putting a vote on the membership, with this huge unknown, and say, decide on this, but we're gonna keep this kind of hidden from you, what needs to be done here, is really misleading, and I know we are going to get beaten up, we're gonna be all over everywhere, that we put this out there, this vote, and now we're gonna have a special assessment for barn 8, and we weren't supposed to have a special assessment for barn 8 because the budgeted for the renovations were in the budget, but now because we've used the money to do barn 6, which was said here, no special assessment, but it's not going to require a special assessment for barn 6, but it is going to result in a special assessment for barn 8. And this does not indicate that.
I thought that was pretty clear with the town halls and every presentation we
Okay,
had, that there's a special
With an
assessment.
average of what we have 80 people at a town hall versus 3,100 residents, that's hardly representative.
Well, it's the same as a vote, right? You get like 800 or 900 voting and you have 2,777 homes.
Are we equating 80 people at a town hall to a formal vote of the members?
No, and
That's
that's what
definitely not
people brought up, that's why you put something before them. I'll be happy to withdraw this, it's just after listening to people who complained. Let me say something, in the 2025 budget, there's $1,130,000 for that ice barn. There's $30,000 in there for design and permit, there's $200,000 in there to have it taken down, and there's $900,000 in the reserve study for the building itself. So we have $1,130,000 at this point in time in the 2025 reserve study that you guys put in there.
But it's not in next year's budget. It's gone in next year's budget.
Well, it's not gone, it's.
The $1.1 million wasn't spent, so it was essentially pushed to this year, like, you're not pulling the wool over my eyes on this one, like, it's very obvious what it is, like, you know, like, this question doesn't match the budget that is in our packet tonight.
Sure it does.
Sure it does, I mean, like.
No, it shows a $4 million loan for Barn 8, Joel. And 10 years from now, if that project is 10 years from now, we don't need this question right now. There are other more important questions to ask. If that project is 10 years out for our budget.
It might be the way that we go. Here's the whole.
That's the thing.
You know, AJ, I hear what you're saying. What happens is the board can put something like this before people because in theory, the ice barn doesn't require a loan.
I'm also pointing out again, you're asking us to vote on
Let
the membership doesn't even have access to this.
Let her respond,
It's not on the website.
let her respond.
It isn't because it's like, how do I say this? You know, we've done this.
It's just
Part of the
maybe.
whole problem is the board can, since we don't need a loan, the board can just take a vote and build and move forward with the ice barn project, because we don't need a loan. Now, one of the complaints that keeps haunting us is the Wellness Center.
How was it not?
You really wanna know why? Did you do a fucking survey?
Watch your language.
I'm sorry. It makes me angry that you can sit there and dare to say something when one night and one vote, did you vote on that? How many times did you ask the association about that? Did you ask them for a survey? No, you didn't.
No, we didn't.
So, I'm sorry.
But we didn't.
And that keeps haunting us, and that keeps coming up at these meetings. Tom can tell you that, and Ray can tell you that.
Point of order, please.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
We'll take a break for 3 minutes. We have a recess for 3 minutes, we go in and break at 8:27.
Good idea.
order at 8:36 PM. And Linda, do you have a motion?
I would make a motion that we would put measure 3, the advisory vote as written on the 2025 November AGM.
I'll second that.
Thank you, timing. All right, we've got comment and discussion, all in favor? Got 4. That passes.
Then all
4.
opposed, no, ask for the opposed, I want the
Any
yeses and the
opposed?
noes to go.
2 opposed.
3.
3 opposed.
4 opposed.
No, raised. Yeah.
1, 2,
Oh, yeah.
3, 4.
Wow, 4.
So we're 4 to 4? Can't be, we're missing, no, if it's 4 to 4,
I was gonna abstain, but I
My,
will say not to put it on, so I'm gonna go with no.
so you're going with Slate now, so that makes it 3, 4, 5 against?
I think so.
Because we're missing Rick, so that has to be the vote. Because otherwise 4-4 is a tie and it dies anyway.
Okay.
So,
What's next on the agenda?
Moving on.
The report for the minutes, it was 5-3, correct?
no,
That's
3, 4, and 5 against, she changed her vote. But I'm saying a 4-4 vote
Yeah,
dies.
4 against,
Yeah.
excuse me.
Okay, I thought you needed one to break the tie, so.
What?
well, I think you can't, in the
That's
floor.
fine. It was 5.
It died.
It was 5 against. 5 against 3, 4. All right, moving forward with,
Measures,
moving forward with 5E, 2026 budget adoption.
Does that pass?
That's page, no,
It
sir.
did not.
no. Not gonna do,
2026 budget adoption, page 2 through 67 in your handouts, if you have them. And Joel made the recommended changes from the last board meeting.
Yes.
And so you have the updated budget in your handouts.
Yeah, basically the bottom line for this, so we took, I couldn't just take 50,000, it's about $50,086, because, so I took $1.41 out of ops and put it to SERP. So the SERP dues are going up from $38.63 to $40.04. Now the ops dues goes from $77.21 to $86.73. If I could take fractional cents, then I could have done it 50 times.
it was just an easy way to do it. I thank you for taking the time to do it. It's at least something. It's not much, but it's better than nothing.
Well, then SERP actually got 50,087, you know.
Thanks, Joe.
And so where that came from, obviously, is hazardous trees is now from 300,000 down to 250,000. And then that remaining difference, I just took it out of other supplies and ACC to keep it all in one department.
Gotcha.
Thanks for doing that, Joel. I agree
Thank
with
you.
Linda. I'm glad to see that done. Are we still, just to clarify, I know we're still calling it hazard trees, but we did change the
Yes, I
name of
did,
that.
I changed the name.
And
So
it's
now,
just so easy to have
yes,
it straight,
yeah.
like,
so now it's just hazardous tree / what it always used to be.
yeah, thank you.
And all the tables and everything's been updated in the document. So like if you went to the bottom pages and looked at SERP and then you see the updated
Yeah.
residual balances.
Nice job, Joe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Thank you very much.
All right, so the motion is to adopt the budget for the 2026 budget.
As presented in our board packet.
Second,
Can we get a second? Thank you. And then questions and comments now.
So is this vote us approving a $4 million loan then? Is that what this is like, because we have a budget showing a $4 million loan that has not been approved by the board.
Yeah, so I mean, just like what it says in the SERP capital budget, all the components that King Board said would require a $4 million loan. Otherwise, without the $4 million loan, then the 10-year capital plan goes,
When does the $4 million loan get taken out?
it would be taken out as soon as the board decides to do that and to commence with that work.
That'd be a separate board action.
Yeah,
You're putting a placeholder in here, whether you spend it or not.
yes, oh, yes.
Correct.
So, yeah, so the,
Correct.
yeah,
And whether it's gonna be for barn 6 or barn 8, you have the money in
Oh,
the
yeah.
coffee can. And if you don't spend it, the board doesn't approve a loan, this money then is returned to the membership in the form of,
the form of,
it gets allocated somewhere differently next year.
so the payments are on there as well.
Correct. It's a placeholder,
Yeah.
AJ, in order to allow for the board to make a vote and not have to go back and modify the reserve study on their 10-year capital plan.
Yeah, so if for some reason the board decides not to commence with the work, then we don't take out the loan for
The narrative to me sounds like de facto way through WICO of getting the membership to approve a $4 million loan instead of the board.
Yeah, but you'd return the difference next year if you didn't spend it. To the membership, either in the form of allocating something different or lowering the amount of the increase.
Yeah.
That's revenue ruling 7604. Is that any excess of revenues over expenses in any one year, that if you return it to the membership in the form of reduced dues.
It's called reconciliation.
Yeah, okay, hold on.
Well, I mean, like, in this case, if the board just doesn't take out the loan, then we don't have the loan, we don't have the loan payments, so. You know, the work just obviously at that point wouldn't be done in that case.
Yeah, you wouldn't have the expenses.
Yeah,
So that,
That's right.
Michael, that would be the only thing, is you wouldn't have the expenses,
yes.
that half of the equation.
Yeah.
I've been looking at reconciliation.
Yeah, so they just decided whatever, let the building bulldoze it or whatever the heck, then all the expenses goes away, we don't take the loan payments aren't made, so they all cancel themselves out.
Timing?
And just to be clear to everybody, just because we're looking at a $4 million loan, it doesn't mean that as we're starting to do these things, we're not gonna just take the $4 million loan right away, it'll be like incremental.
That's correct, yes.
So,
yes.
if the first couple $100,000, we'll take that, and we'll only be paying
That's
only
right.
$200,000.
Yeah.
So it will ratchet up to 4 million, it will not suddenly be a $4 million loan.
That's right, yeah, so
It doesn't say
Yeah,
that.
just hold on, I'll call on you.
So the first year is the draw period for the loan. In the first year, we're only making payments on the interest, and the interest on the loan, no principal payment.
Just want to be clear on that.
You can say that, but the paperwork and the documentation doesn't corroborate that.
Yes, it does.
Like, doesn't show that we're gonna take out incremental loans or anything like that, like, so like, this just goes back to the plans not being shown.
Have you ever built a house?
Yeah.
That's how it works. You get an approval for a loan, and as you're building the home, they dig the hole and you pay for the,
Yeah, I
The
know,
homes
I
will be done.
understand all that.
okay, well then you should be able to figure this out.
Yeah. It's no different than a construction loan would be here, any other type of loan like that, so it pays in increments, based on,
Yeah, I get that.
okay. Any other questions? Hey, guys, no sidebars.
Saying we're gonna take out
I'm
a small loan
explaining
here,
to
then we're
Lori.
gonna-
Alright, do we have any other questions or comments regarding the budget? If you do, please raise your hand.
I'm just
AJ,
gonna make the statement to the membership that it's been announced here that approving this budget will eventually lead to a special assessment.
That's not.
We just said, it got said multiple times
That's not a true
tonight by
statement.
multiple people.
that's an opinion, yeah, that would be your opinion, but
Yeah, I think the facts show that, so, and it's been stated,
I don't think
it is
was-
my opinion, yes.
I don't think that was like
I think it's an educated opinion.
the town halls and so forth expressed that if we were to do the major renovations needed here and so forth, yes, a special assessment will be required. There's no question about that, and we're not trying to hide that fact. That the idea is try to keep that special assessment down to a minimum if we can, right? We could go crazy,
Because we're
but
gonna
we
go to-
certainly don't wanna do that, so we're trying to keep it down.
You
Okay,
have your excuse.
all right. So we have the motion to adopt our budget.
As presented in the packet this evening.
Thank you. AJ,
Opposed?
Passes by majority. All right, very good. Motion to adjourn the meeting at 8:46 PM.
We need to vote on something first. Stop, we have to do this,
That's not on our agenda, what are we doing?
Yes, well, it's part of the, how do I say it? It should, it's, how do I say it? It has to do with measures and ballots and explanations. How do I say it? We have to vote on these mailing materials.
Oh, I
It is in,
We still have
yeah. 5A.
Oh, it is on there, correct, I'm
Measures,
sorry.
ballot, and explanations to committee.
AGM agenda, measures, ballots, and explanation. Excuse me, that was part of 5A, and we should have addressed that.
We did
So
5B
please go ahead.
first.
It's just, it's something we always do. Unelect, and we're using AMS again, likes to start ahead. That if we say these are fine, it contains all the information that it needs to, we vote to approve these, envelope, all it is the envelope. It's just what it says on each of them and what we're required to say. And it's like, if it's fine with us and we can say, yes, we approve the envelope design, they can go to AMS and they can print all this stuff early. And they do.
Yeah, very simple. This is, you're gonna have the rest of it for me, hopefully I can put on the
On the
agenda
11th.
next Thursday. This is de minimis, Linda, you can certainly vote on this. It's just an envelope. You're approving a proof.
Yeah.
What color is the envelope?
Yeah, you're doing a proof of theirs,
Okay.
which is, yeah.
Is that gonna make a difference?
Good to some people,
I
apparently.
got the email to opt in for electronic voting.
Yes.
As this is our first year with electronic voting, do we still have to send a ballot out to everyone?
Yes,
even
we're
if they're opted in?
sending a paper ballot to everyone.
Good question though, 'cause
Yeah.
I was the same thing.
Because I thought that if you
I
opted
think
in,
we
maybe you
answered it.
didn't have to,
I
so
think
I
we
totally
answered
understand.
Yeah, Rob answered that last
Okay, perfect.
meeting.
The ultimate goal is to save money in printing and mailings and so forth, so the more people that opt in for electronic ballots, the better it'll be overall for the community, so less money spent on that.
Next year.
Next year, yeah, 'cause I was like you, if I don't get both, I'll miss one. I'll miss
Yeah,
one.
no, got it. Okay, had nothing to do with my vote. It was just a question.
I would move that the board approve the mailing envelope designs from Unelect for the 2025 election.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Ray.
Thank you, Ray. Spencer, we're still recording, correct? Okay, thank you. Okay, all in favor, or any questions, comments? All right, we'll take the vote, all in favor? That is unanimous.
It's so simple, but I've already gotten the email from her tonight, or we all did.
That was unanimous.
Yeah.
Okay,
Anything
now,
else?
is there anything else? Yeah, before you
No, about the,
That's the budget that we voted
lead
on.
candidate booklet.
We'll finalize that next Thursday.
Okay, so this is.
Yeah, this is just a draft
Okay.
and you're gonna get the booklet to look at on the 11th and say yay verily, and hopefully by then, all the monsters have come out of it.
All right,
Alrighty,
make a motion to adjourn 50 PM.
I'll second that one.
Yeah, go.
Can I vote with 2 hands?
You can, I won't count that, Tom for 2.
No, that goes on the meetings on the.
At 8:50.
Adjourned.
At
Is
8:50.
on